the cloud. All right. Then, Michael, it's up to you now. You can start and
Okay,
Good.
launch.
Good morning, Davide. How are you?
great. Sorry, I just wanted, before starting, if it's possible to check if sharing my screen is good.
I have
So,
allowed multiple participants to share the screen, so you're
okay.
good to go. Yeah.
So
There you go.
here you can see,
Your screen.
okay, you can see my screen with some now a castle and something like that.
Yes.
Is it? Okay.
Great. So I want to start by saying good morning. Well, it's actually good afternoon for you. Thank you for joining us for our OSDIA region of the month of February is Valle d'Aosta, and in English it's Aosta Valley. And what a better way to start talking about this region from one of our most distinguished citizens there. We're honored to have with us today Davide Jaccod, who is the Director of Tourism Office at Valle d'Aosta. As a journalist, a former tourist guide, and organizer of the events, we could have not asked for a better representative for today's meeting. So, Davide, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for your invitation. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I wanted to start by saying the majority of Italian Americans that originate from Italy are around here are Southern Italy. So our knowledge of Italy is very put into that region. Northern Italy, especially that western part, is so fascinating to me, especially because of its unique borders
Yeah.
and where people are naturally bilingual and with a strong sense of pride in their culture. Can you tell us more about that region?
Yeah, as you know, it's not only for Italian Americans that even in Italy, Aosta Valley is not so well known because it is actually
Mm-hmm.
the smallest region in Italy. We are really in the northwestern corner of Italy, in the middle of the Alps. It's a mountain region, a small region. All the region has some 125,000 inhabitants, so it's a tiny place, but really in the middle of the highest mountain in Europe. We're just close the border with France and with Switzerland, and all the highest mountains in Europe are around our small region. All the mountains that are taller than 400,000 meters, they are here, and so it's a region very well known for skiing and for hiking mountains, but we have a lot of history in this tiny region. And as you were saying, we are bilingual. I mean, that means that we speak both Italian and French. Most of the people just speak Italian at home because we are part of Italy, but our history for a very long time was connected with France. And so, for example, my name is Davide, that of course is an Italian name, but my family name is Jaccod, that is a French name. And if you ever come, as I hope, in the Aosta Valley, you see that all the towns have French names. You will start from Pont-Saint-Martin and end in Courmayeur, close to
Oh,
France. We're not far from Turin, actually. This is the area. I can share, just in order to let you know where we are, if it's okay for you. I will share
yes, please.
the where we are. So I can tell you. I think you should see the word right now. And this is, of course, Italy. And as you were saying, many Italian Americans comes from the southern part of Italy.
Mm-hmm.
But we are in the very, very northwestern corner here. This is
Oh, wow.
Aosta, the main town in the region. And as you can see, we are in the middle of the Alps. All around here, you have the Mont Blanc, the highest mountain in Europe, and the Gran Paradiso area and the area of Monte Cervino, Zermatt, close to Switzerland. And you see, in the end of the valley, here at the center, we have the most important town we have here, Aosta, and the tunnel going on the other side of the Alps in France. And so again, you see, we are really far from maybe from what is commonly imagined about Italy. When you think about Italy, you think about Rome, of course, about Naples, about
Right.
Sicily, or maybe Venice, of course. a lot of sea, the Mediterranean, all around Italy. But we are part of Italy, pretty proudly part of Italy, and proudly part of a very special history that happened here in the heart of the highest mountain in Europe.
Wow, that looks beautiful there.
Yeah, it is.
So, Valle d'Aosta is one of 5 autonomous regions in Italy, along with
Yeah.
Sardinia, Sicily, Trentino, Alto Adige, and Figlia Velte Guenda. What does it mean for a region to be autonomous?
We have some kind of our laws are slightly different from the Italian ones. This is for historical reasons. As you were telling, all the regions are border regions or islands, so they have a special history. And for example, for us, this comes from our French root. And so after World War II, what happened is that when Italy was freed from fascism, um, all this border region that feared for a long time the central power of the fascist era, that when everything must had to be very Italian, very strongly connected with the even ancient Roman history. They had a kind of reaction to this. And so we had the chance to have our local government that is more powerful and than other local or other regional governments elsewhere in Italy. And for example, we have our own laws, according, for example, talking about languages. And in school in Aosta Valley is led by the local government, and so we learn both Italian and French at school. Elsewhere in Italy, you can choose to learn French, you can choose to learn English, of course, but we study French since we are children, and we have some special laws on tourism, for example, on health, and we can choose a little bit more than other regions on what we want to do according really to this special history and to the special kind of way of being Italian. As you know, Italy is a rich puzzle with very different stories. We've been struggling from one town to the other for centuries, for millennia, we can say. And after that, all this, I think this is one of the most beautiful things about coming to Italy. When you come to Italy, and you can't imagine how different it can be. Maybe 100 miles, one point to the other, you'll find very different landscapes and languages and things to, of course, and dishes, things to eat. And if you come from Sicily or if you come from Aosta Valley, it's really a different way of thinking. And I think this is the most wonderful thing about being Italian, have such a richness of differences. And the history of Italy has led to some special autonomies to this region, also in order to keep together all these different populations that happened 80 years ago, 90 years ago. But now it has a different meaning of sharing a common ground. But I think, for example, our bilingual, learning 2 languages is an incredible opportunity for our young people, because you learn when you are 15, you speak both Italian and French and English, and so you speak 3 languages. Wow. And this is very precious for traveling and for and for working, as you can see.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. It sounds like this region is more special than the others.
I mean, of course, like every region is more special than the others, but yeah, exactly. And I can say nothing different from that, actually, because the speciality of Aosta Valley is surprising. I mean, all Italy. I really love to travel around in Italy, and you can spend your entire life in Italy without knowing everything, because you have so many things to see. But being in the Aosta Valley is so surprising because in this small region you have a lot of nature. We have the most ancient natural park, the most ancient Italian natural park. We have some incredible story about castles, about the Roman era. As you told, I've been a tourist guide for a long time, and I was really love to help people from the US in discovering my region, and especially the city of Aosta. And it's pretty easy to surprise people when you show something, a history that started from 5,000 years ago, before the Roman era. The small region in the middle of the mountains, it doesn't seem a really easy place to live in, but it was. And we have a megalithic area that is a museum now. That's a wonderful one, and tells us that we had people living here since 5,000 years before Christ. And then when the Romans got here, they built their most important city in the middle of the Alps because they wanted to have a fast way to cross the Alps. And so they built an incredible road coming from Rome and coming to Aosta, and then going to France, to the Gallia area. I think you can also say in English that all the roads leads to Rome. I think you can say, yeah, that's actually because the Romans were the first one in building really proper roads. And one of the most important one passed through the Aosta Valley because we had a way to go on the other side of the Alps. And so we have a very rich Roman archaeological area with Roman theater, with many Roman bridges, with the area, with the big doors of the Roman city of Augusta Praetoria, nowadays Aosta. And in a few hours, you can discover a lot of things, and then a very strong Middle Age with dozens of castles. And so that's why I think it's special, and it deserves this kind of speciality.
Good. Well, I look forward to coming up and visiting with you. One of the government of Italy's main campaigns this year is Roots Tourism, or Turista del Ruce. And from our side, we hope this conversation will provide our members with more information about this unique region. And for those who are lucky enough to plan a trip, we would like the top 3 things they should not miss while there.
Okay, top 3 things. Okay, the first one, of course, you have to discover the landscape and our territory. So you have to start from the area of the Gran Paradiso National Park. It's on the border with France and with Piedmont, the region of Turin, and it's the oldest regional park. And they had a connection. They have a connection with some parks in the U.S. with the Yellowstone Park, and it's a wonderful way of discovering the Alps from a strange point of view, because we have a lot of course, animals, wildlife, and the stunning heights of the mountains. And this is the first thing you see when you come to Aosta Valley. You come from the plain of the area of Turin, of Milan, and suddenly you have the mountains coming up in a very fast way. And it can really seems to be a wall, but once you cross that wall, you see this kind of this chest of treasure. That is the most stunning things. After that, and in that, we have a very special, again, I will share my screen so I can show you something that is easy to understand. And for example, here, this is a cable car coming in on the Punta El Bronner. This is the very heart of the Mont Blanc area. And you'll go up with this cable car starting from Courmayeur and going up to 3,500 meters high, and you're really in the middle of the mountains. This is a dome in a sunrise in the middle of the area, and you see you are in the middle of the glaciers. And this is something really easy to get in, and it's something really filled with wonder. And from there, you can see all the highest mountain of the area. And for example, here you have the sun coming up out of one of those mountains. And in a few moments, you can really be overwhelmed by the wonder of this place. And it's really easy to get there. And it's, I think, the first highlight you have to see when you come to Aosta Valley. The second thing, and I will go on sharing, is living in our rich historical background. As I was telling you, we have, this is a Roman bridge in Pondel. This is one castle of the ancient kings of Italy, the Savoy family. This castle is the Isogno Castle. This again is the Castel Savoia in the middle of the area of the Gressoney. And you see, we can go on for for a long time. This is the part of the Roman part, the Roman heritage of the Aosta Valley, and then the medieval heritage. So you have things starting from the very first centuries of life in Europe and coming to nowadays, and at the very and so it's really you have to spend a lot of time, because you have to see at least 2 or 3 of these castles, because they contains a lot of histories. And then the last one is maybe something that it's something that comes out recently. After many decades of works, we found an incredible archaeological area that started from 5,000 years before Christ and getting to the Middle Ages. And what you see in these images is the Area Megalithica, the megalithic museum of Aosta that has been reopened in 2023. And it's one of our most recent and precious jewels, because you can see on the website, you'll see all the things also in English, of course. And it's something that really is really surprising. In the middle of the expansion of the town of Aosta, and in the middle of the houses, you find such an important heritage and witnessing of the people living here. You see this enormous carved stones or tombs made here in the 2nd and 3rd millennials before Christ. So it's a very long story that we really want to share with the people that we hope will come back to, will come or come back in Italy.
That sounds wonderful. And we can't forget your world famous fondue.
Yeah, fondue, of course. We're in the middle of the Alps, so we have to eat cheese. And the most important cheese we have is Fontina. And Fontina is a very local, you won't find everywhere else the real Fontina. And the fondue is, of course, you heat the Fontina and then it comes down. You can eat it with potatoes or with vegetables or with charcuterie, with some hams. And this is, of course, you have a very strong mountain dishes that are traditional, like this one, like some many different hams. And you can, recently we had a very good growth also in wines, because as it's getting everywhere warmer and warmer, now we have a lot of grapes coming up with very good fruits. And so in the last 20 years, the wines of Aosta Valley has increased their level incredibly.
Beautiful. So I'm a little torn between coming in the winter or coming in the summer. How long would a visit usually would it warrant to be?
I think you should come twice, once and once. No, it depends.
Definitely.
It depends, of course. If you come in winter, I suggest to come in winter if you love skiing. If you love skiing, we have some of the most beautiful skiing area in Italy, and I should say in Europe. And so it's a very nice thing. If you want to discover, I think that summertime, as maybe springtime and summertime until autumn, we have some very nice weather and very warm weather, but not too warm in September, October in the last few years, and it's wonderful. You have all colors of the mountains, and in between the summer and the autumn, you have a lot of things to see. You can discover all the historical area, and also still enjoy the hikings, and of course, and if you're into extreme sports like climbing, and you want to cross over the most high mountains of Europe, it's the right place to go.
Actually, I think
Beautiful.
that Michael's question was perfect, because I had a chance to visit Aosta Valley back in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I went there during the summer. It was one of the most beautiful experiences ever. So I went to La Tuile,
Okay.
there, and it was stunning, as you said. So for the summer, it's definitely worth it. And maybe a question, for our members would like to to know about a little bit more about the events there. So what is something that they can expect if they come? I don't know, maybe in the summer or maybe in the winter. There's something special about the region.
Okay, so the first one, with no doubt, is the big Santorso fair. Santorso is one of the medieval priests that is very famous here. He was the patron of the city. And every year on the 30th and 31st of January, there is an enormous fair about wood crafting in the heart of the city of Aosta. But to tell you how many people come here, we have from 200,000 to 300,000 people coming for that fair in the middle of the winter. It's very cold usually, but it's an enormous party, and it really is something that you can't find everywhere else. And I always suggest to the people coming here to have a taste of this traditional party that is very touristic, of course, but it's really something that is really felt by the people living here about like being one of the most important time in which being together and sharing something on the 30th and 31st of January every year. And this is the middle of the winter. If you come in summertime, for example, we have, we as the Office de Tourisme, the office that runs the tourism here, the welcomeness in here. I don't know if welcomeness is an English word. Sorry, but
oh, that's it. That's
okay. And we do this kind of thing, and we organize every year. We set up some important concerts in the middle of the mountains, in the middle of fields, in the woods. And this is a series of concerts called Musica Stelle, and has some of the most important Italian songwriters coming here and having concerts in some very, very nice landscape. And other than that, you can come and visit I would say from June till September. Everywhere in the tiniest town and tiniest village, you'll have a very typical party about something special to eat. If you come to Liliana, you have the one thing. If you come to Bard, you'll have one thing more. And this is very popular. This is very real, with real people coming here, and it's something that deserves to be. And then, of course, we have a lot of different things about theater and about music, and we have things going on all year long. So we'll share with you the website that kind of gather everything from the touristic point of view, and you can go on with our discovery.
And that is
wonderful. Well, it's funny, David, because I'm Sicilian, so I always look at the shore. You've changed my mind. I'm falling in love. I'm falling in love with the mountains.
Yeah, but I fell in love with Sicily when I went there, because Sicily is one of the most beautiful places in the world, in my opinion, because you have nice people, nice weather, wonderful shores,
Right.
incredible cuisine, and but you know, I think, for example, in my experience, my father is from here, and my mother is from Rome, and I think that this kind of melting of different tradition is one of the
Mm-hmm.
most fascinating and one of the most important things of Italy. A melting that is still going on. We still are on a border, and we are people. We are a place from Italy. Italians spread everywhere in the world, as you witness, and we have now new Italians uh, that are growing, and it's always a strange equilibrium between being
Mm-hmm.
Italian today and thinking about what Italy was 30 years ago, 50 years ago, 1,000, 100, or maybe 1,000 years ago. But
Yeah.
and we have to imagine what we will be. And so this is still a big reserve of energy for us. And I think this is what is nice to see nowadays in Italy and in Aosta Valley, of
Um,
course.
yes. Oh, no, it sounds like it's beautiful. I know Joanna has visited. I will definitely be coming up there to visit with you as well. I plan on being in Italy at least twice this year,
Oh,
both in the May time frame and the September time frame. But yeah, so we'll definitely be in contact.
oh, of course, you're all welcome, and do not hesitate. And well, I think we are pretty welcoming here, and so we'll be pleased to. I will come with you. I will take again my ticket of touristic guide and be your guide in Aosta.
You, beautiful. I think our members will really appreciate this because again, it's a region that I don't think we've visited as well as we should. So I think this will help that to nurture to get more Americans and people Italians to come over and visit. I
It will
thank
be
you
a
so
pleasure.
much.
Thank you.
Yep, wonderful. Um, and thank you very much, Davide, for joining us.
Thank you very
And I
much.
know it's getting a little later there today, so you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Yeah,
You want
thank you.
anything else you wanted to add?
No, it's just that, as you were telling you are welcome here. And I think that the Aosta Valley could be a surprising way to enter Italy. If you've never been to Italy, of course, you have to go to Florence or to Venice or to Rome
Mhm.
or to Sicily, of course. But if you want to discover the richness and the plurality of Aosta Valley, of the Italy, I think that Aosta Valley is a wonderful point where to start on.
Beautiful. We look forward to celebrating your region with you. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Davide.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Davide.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.